However, the fintech landscape is also on the rise, and as I've mentioned, with full investor backing, so they also pack a punch from a remuneration standpoint, since they also have to compete with the banks for that top class talent. In terms of culture, fintechs are seen as the new fun guy on the block, whereas the traditional institutions are the grey-haired relative. Kunal Shah, the founder of Cred in India, shared something very funny. He mentioned that when he asked his young cousin why he didn't want to work or consider working with a few banks, the response was he didn't want to work for an uncle company. And that remark is very telling of how the youth perceive some of the traditional institutions. So as a company, you should ask yourself if you're perceived as an uncle company, and if the answer is leaning towards the affirmative, then you need to make the necessary changes and adjustments. But going back to the fintech culture, it tends to be more electric and fast-paced than the larger incumbent institutions. Even if you're within the same role, for example, you were a product manager in a traditional financial institution and now become a product manager in a fintech, you realize that although you may be working on the same things or the work may be similar, there is more room to innovate and amend process, and there's easier collaboration and less silos and bureaucracy. Fintechs typically allow its people to learn disruptive technologies firsthand and maintain the startup culture, which has more relaxed workspaces and a more collaborative environment.